Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Testing Mini Bytes. I am your friend Amugan Shaktivel, and in this video we're going to see how we can write our first test by inspecting the apps. Right, it is very important to find the elements in order to interact with them. Right, so we're going to interact with the element, find its element attributes, use them to identify the element, and then we will do some action upon it. Right, if it's a button, we're going to do some clicking. If it's a text box, we're going to send some keys to it, and there are a lot of operations that we could do. But the main thing is we're going to inspect the apps, and we're going to write some locating strategies, right? I may not be covering all of them. I will cover only few of them that are very important, right? Yeah, let's go to the IntelliJ without wasting much time, right? So we notice this is the Android test that we have written so far, right? We have written so far, and it just launches the driver. It doesn't do anything after that, right? Let me open the emulator and see. So this is the app that we are playing around with, and let's say I want to do something like, I want to click on this, and then I want to go to this login page, and then I want to do some keys here, and then I want to click on login, right? So let's assume this is what we want to do, right? Let's go back to the home page. So from here, even though there are ways to launch it via deep links, but our understanding here is we're going to find the element properties to identify them. So we'll use this way, right? So what you can do is you can go to the Appium inspector, and this is the properties. For example, Appium colon device name is Samsung, or you can give any random names here. Automation name is UA Automator 2. So whatever that we have given here, we are going to give the same thing, right? So it's almost same thing. And yeah, so we have given the path to the app. For example, this is the app that I'm trying to launch, and I have given the path of this app, and the platform is Android. Now I want to make sure that the Appium server is up and running before I try to do something, right? Since I am using Appium hyphen version, this is 2.0, guys. So yeah, so this is 2.0 beta. So what I'm going to do is just running Appium. Okay, that's what I want to do. Again, if you are using Appium Inspector web version, you have to pass the additional argument allow cars equal true, right? So this is the Android drivers, the UA Automator and the iOS driver XUA test I have already installed. I have 3 plugins. That is all I need. So the server is up and running. I just need to click on start session. That's it. So what it says is could not be found, or a request was received by a different HTTP method. So it says I'm giving the host as this, but the remote path is different. So what I have to do is from 2.0, you don't have to give this. Okay. Otherwise, you can also do one more thing, starting the Appium with Appium hyphen base path equal to wd/hub. Instead of that, you can also remove this and then click on start session. Now, if you notice, your CLI is showing something, and Appium inspector is trying to send commands to this particular Appium server, and then it's also opening the app here. Now, all you have to do is click on this inspect button and click on whatever stuff you want to click, right? Now you see XPaths, you can see classes, text names, and all that, right? But in our case, we want to inspect this particular hamburger menu. So it says open menu. So there seems to be some open menu here. This is what it's showing, but I don't think that's a very good way to find it out. So let's see if there is any other good way, right? So yeah, this is how you basically navigate inside them. Maybe I'll open all of these notes. It might look a little frustrating, but this is how it is. So yeah. So it goes and goes. So I do not know when this will stop. Yeah, so this is where it stops. And here, if you notice, it just finds this whole stuff and nothing after that. So I just want to find this, right? So let me click on that. And this is long press. Yeah. So this is the open menu that we are interested in. So I think this is the XPath that it gave, which seems to be much reasonable. But if you notice, there is an accessibility ID of open menu, which is the best way to find this element. So let's go here and, let's do driver dot find element, right? And then we say by dot accessibility ID, right? So when you say by, you have to import the by. So what it says is you cannot find it. we have added Java client here. Why did I add a Selenium? So Selenium is not needed. Maybe I was trying something. So by dot, so now it should show accessibility ID. So accessibility ID is very specific to Appium by. So you have to use Appium by dot accessibility ID. Again, from 2.0 and latest versions, sorry, the recent Java clients don't have mobile byte, so don't try that. So accessibility of this, and what I want to do, I want to do click on it. But the problem here is I didn't apply any sort of weighting here. So that might be a problem. But for now I have applied a hard-coded weight of 4 seconds, which is not a good practice. I know we have to use explicit weights, but yeah, for now this is fine. So let's find another element. So what I want to do is I basically click here, and then this opens up, then refresh the shows. Yes, that's fine. I want to click on the login button now. Sometimes it just didn't fit in properly, but it's very clear. There is a login text that we ought to use it. So for example, here, if notice, there is a login text with accessibility ID. You could also use this, right? So content description is this. So you can also use XPath just for trying out something new. I'm going to use find element. So you can use by.xpath here. Yeah. And then this, right? So once you are done with that, you can also go find element, click on login, go to the Appium inspector, reload it again. I guess you can also do one more thing. That is, you can download the source or copy this XML source, and then you can inspect it later. Like you don't have to open Appium inspector session every time, right? So let's go to the username field. You have accessibility ID, pretty good. But again, if it is not available, you can use XPaths or some other stuff. So for now, I'm going to use username. I think this is enough. Appium by dot accessibility ID, and this is fine, right? I want to send keys here, and then I do something like this. Okay, that's all. So now let's try to run the test and see what's happened. Obviously, since we are using the same inspector session and our test running on the same device, so the Appium inspector session will get closed because we are trying to run this test on the same device. Okay, now the Appium server is sending command to this particular device, right? So if you notice, we haven't applied any sort of weight for the login, and hence it failed. So what it says is, I'm trying to find this element which seems to be not available. So yeah, so this cost because we didn't apply any sort of weighting here. So what I can do is, you can do new WebDriver weight, and then what it accepts is the driver itself, and then it should be time unit. Sorry, it should accept duration, right? So seconds, and then let's say 10 seconds, and then dot until you wait until you find the element by this expert, right? So yeah, this is lambda way of writing things, but this is all quite hard, guys. That's why I recommend using Selenium Appium, which I will cover in the upcoming sessions. So you don't have to write all these weights. There is also one more way how to avoid this, but yeah, for now let's do this. And then here, for simplicity reasons, I'll put thread.sleep and then 5 seconds, right, for now. And then let's try to run the test. It's very simple test. We are not doing anything, very hard stuff here, very simple stuff. And this time it should work. You can also see the logs here. Again, guys, if you have time, please go through the logs. It basically sends a lot of HTTP commands to the receive the HTTP commands from the client and then sends it to the Android emulator, right? Again, there seems to be some kind of other failures. It says no such element exception. Maybe I didn't find it properly. Let's copy this and then see the XPath that I have copied is actually correct. Let's go here. You can also do this. If I look, please do this. It's not working because our emulator is already used by somebody else. So what you have to do is you have to again close this and then again open it. So this way I recommend having two emulators connected to your machine. You use one of them for inspecting and you use another one for running your test. So that's the best way out. Um, and then let's go here. So what you have to do is refresh the source, search for the element using XPath, and this is the XPath, right? So let's click on search and it finds the element. Let's try to tap on it and then it's tapping on it, right? So in our case, it is not working, which is very strange. So it says using the accessibility ID username field. So it cannot find the username field because, okay, guys, I just find the element, but I'm not clicking it. So this is pretty silly mistake, and we all can make this mistake. So now it should work. Again, guys, I recommend watching this in 1.25 or 1.5 speed so that you don't waste a lot of time. Again, I could have edited this video, but I prefer not to because I'm also a human, tend to make all these mistakes. So it's pretty normal. So I don't want to hide it from you guys. Let it click on the hamburger. It should click on login, and then it should enter something into the username field, right? So it's waiting for 5 seconds. Yeah, and all the tests got passed. Similarly, we can inspect the iOS stuff, right? So for that, what we can do is just copy this path, find Finder. All you have to do is copy the path and go to the inspector, close this Appium session, Appium inspector session on Android, and then basically click on iOS and then use the app as this particular app. That's it, short session. Now, once you do this, you should see a simulator here. So it will basically create a session for us. Then we try to find one or two elements and then see how it goes. If you notice here, it just basically loads all the stuff. So I can just refer the source and then it should basically show the app here. I do not know, it's taking more than the normal time. So even though it's all coming here, but my iPhone simulator is still not showing the screen. Okay, that's fine, but as long as we could inspect it from here, that's fine. So if you notice, there is no menu item. I could not see that here. I think we have to click on something like this. So if you notice, this is crazy, right? So we cannot inspect it properly. Let's try to refresh the source once again. I think it's not the best iOS app I've seen. But what I can do is, if you notice, the text is menu, right? So most probably, we can use XPath here. I do not know exactly what is the type of it, so I use the wildcard. And then what I'm going to do is at the rate, this should be labeled, right? So this should be labeled equal to, because text is very commonly used in Android, but the label is commonly used in iOS. So I'm using a label type with menu. So let's see if it is finding something out of it. If it not finds anything, let's do a text and then see what's happening. Okay, it's gonna find anything. So if you notice, the label and name. So let's try with the name. So at the rate name equal to menu. Not find anything, right? So I think it is strange. Let's say there is a name of this by name. and I use this. So it finds a lot of elements here. Maybe I want to get the first one out of it, right? So let's try to tap on it and let's see what happens. So this is not the best iOS app. So the DOM is not that very good. So what I can do, it's working. So I use this by.name here in the iOS test, and driver dot find elements, right? A by.name, and I use this name, right? And I want to get the first index out of it, and then I just want to click. That's it. Again, guys, please add all these assertions here, which all you can do. Okay, so please do that. So for now, I'll start with just one element here. You can just run the test. I do not know why my emulator is like this. So let me close this. Let it open the emulator. So, okay, it's opening iPhone 14 because I have given iPhone 14. Okay. So it is trying to start all this stuff. Yeah. iPhone 14 is launched. It's checking whether the app is installed. You can see all these things here, guys. So removing the app from the device and then trying to do something else now. I do not know why it is also having iPhone 13, but it's trying to do on both the devices. Okay, it's only running on here. Okay, it should launch the app. So it says it's trying to do a lot of things, guys. I think something is messy. Let's close the iPhone screen. Let me also stop the test. And these kind of things will always happen, guys. So don't worry about it. Close everything. Your simulator as well. Quick simulator. Everything is closed. We'll try to run it on iPhone 13 because that's where I normally run my test. So let's do it. This is why normally people recommend using a Lambda test or other cloud providers because in your local it can take some time for it to work properly. Again, uh, iOS is pretty hard in these senses. I do not know why it is also launching iPhone 14, which I am not launching it, but it's somehow launching it. It shouldn't be launching that because I have given clearly it's iPhone 13. So if you facing these kind of problem, what I recommend is, if this still doesn't work, the retrying, I would highly suggest to, close the simulator, close the terminal as well, and then, reopen the Appium server. So this time, I just try Appium and everything should be fine again. It should be, right? Um, Appium server is not starting. Yeah, so this is now starting all the stuff. And then now I'm going to launch this. I have my iPhone 13 open. This should be fast now. Hey guys, I could have avoided all these things and just made a video, ideal video. But if you are facing these kind of issues, it might help you to solve them, right? So because we have clearly changed the device name as iPhone 13, so it shouldn't be opening iPhone 14. So it is installing the app now. It's good. Trying to get the status, WebDriver agent status. So basically this WebDriver agent is what helping us to communicate with the simulator, right? So now everything is working fine. So this is how it is like, if you change the device name or something in between, I think, the Appium server is still responding to the old device. That's what causing all the problems. So now it is done here. You should click on menu. Yeah, it clicked on, yeah, something like the store item text. That's what we did. So we want to find all the elements and get the first one, which is exactly what it did. So this is crazy. Everything looks good. Again, guys, if you want to close the app at the end, all you have to do is driver dot call the quit out, right? So once you do this, your app will be closed. So that's how you write your Android and iOS test. I will see you guys in another great video. Until then, tada bye bye from Amrit.